Hi book besties. Today I have a fun video. I really wanted to do some more recommendation videos on my channel, but today I wanted to focus on young adult books. I hold these books so close to my heart. I feel like young adult books can never go wrong for me, at least like from what I've experienced. I grew up reading young adult books. Most of the books I've read are young adult books. So I have a lot of books I could talk about, but I'm really just gonna recommend my favorite ones that I've read. These are books I've read like all throughout my life, which is so crazy to think. And young adult books to me are like comfort books. Like I feel like I could reread them and they just feel comforting. So first off, wait, hold on. We have to start with a classic, y'all. The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I read a lot of John Green books when I was younger. This is so funny. Anyone else who was on Tumblr back in like 2013, 2014, do you remember everyone posting like this book everywhere? And it was like the okay like clouds and just like the aesthetic of Augustus Waters. What is it coming out here? I saw the movie in theaters and I got a like little keepsake bracelet, but I kept the picture. I don't know where the bracelet is though, but it was in here. This is definitely a book I would want to reread and rewatch the movie, because I remember I loved the movie back then, except for the scene with like the Anne Frank house was a little weird, you know. I feel I've seen some discourse online about that part, but I would love to reread this. I should do a video rereading like John Green books or like young adult books and then like reacting to them now that I'm old. I'm not old, but I'm older. Anyway, so this book is, do you know what this book is about? This is about Hazel and Augustus Waters, and Hazel has, I forget what she has. I don't know if I really need to recommend this. I just wanted to do a honorable mention for John Green because I feel like he was the king of young adult back then. I mean, there were other popular authors, but in my journey of reading, John Green was a prominent figure in my reading journey. Shout out you, John Green. I like have so much things on my desk. I have my yarn, my work in progress, my whip. I have my Dunkin' coffee I went out to get. We gotta make some room for the books. Okay. I know I already talked about this book on my channel before because I deemed it as the book that got me back into reading last year after a long hiatus. And that book is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is a very popular young adult book. It's like a mystery thriller, and I feel like it's really well done as a young adult book, and it actually feels scary in my opinion, especially the third book. The second and third book were really thrilling to me, honestly. So this one's about Pip, and she is basically re-examining a case that happened in her small town, where this girl named Andy Bell was murdered. Well, they think she was murdered by her boyfriend, and Pip is investigating it for her school project, I believe. But it gets like really good. I highly recommend this whole series. The third book was crazy. I didn't really like it that much just because of like Pip and her like character in that book. But I've seen mixed reviews. I've seen people who loved it and I've seen people who were like, this is not her, which I kind of agree, but it makes sense as when you think about all the things she's been through in the first and second book, what brought her to be like she was in the third book, you know? The next book is a book I read for the first time in high school. I'm gonna check when it came out, but oh no, it came out a long time ago because this is the 20th anniversary edition I have. So I first read it in high school, and that book is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. This is like kind of iconic for me. This also felt like a book that was like all over Tumblr, at least the movie, like screen caps of the movie, that was all over Tumblr, and I think even Instagram back then. It feels very like melancholy. Reading it does have some, you know, sad topics, possibly triggering topics, so I'd say look at trigger warnings when you read this book. Watching the movie really enhances the reading experience. I remember initially I read the book first and then I watched the movie, and I really loved the movie. And then when I read the book, knowing that I already seen the movie, I feel like it enhanced the reading experience of reading the book again. And then I watched the movie again, and I don't know where I'm going with this. But I feel like the book and the movie really go hand in hand in my opinion. I don't know how people feel about the movie adaptation, but I really like it. I know, well, I don't know if you've watched my Dollar Tree video. If you've seen my Dollar Tree video, I got this book at the Dollar Tree. And it was such a good find, and this is what sparked my like, oh my gosh, maybe I should look at books at Dollar Tree thought for my YouTube video. But I got this book like a year ago. Anyways, I wanted to show you the hardcover. It's like a beautiful blue color. It's so pretty. I think I give this book a 4-star rating now. The last time I read it. And I don't think I said about The Fault in Our Stars, but I definitely gave that a 5-star rating when I was younger. I would love to reread it and give it a new star rating. And then A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, I think I gave it a 4. And then this is a 4 as well. Also, we need to like talk about Logan Lerman in The Perks of Being a Wallflower. He was, still is, iconic. You know how people say like white boy of the month? Like he was the white boy of the decade. I love him. Everything that he's been in. For me, it was like Logan Lerman, Dylan O'Brien, Theo James, who we'll talk about in a little bit. Who else am I missing? I feel like they were the big 3 for me. They are my big 3. I'm definitely missing someone. Nick Robinson was a big one for me for a while during the 5th wave era. Anyways, back to Reality Zone. This next book I read last summer. I got this on Book Outlet. It is a young adult romance and it is so cute. And that book is Love and Gelato. I recommend this if, this is definitely like a cute summer read, but this is also a nice like little pick-me-up light read. Actually a lot goes on in this and there are some like very like, I really like the storyline in this one, honestly. So this is Lena and she's staying with her father in Italy. It is so cute. Let me just say, Jenna Evans Welch, she does a great job at setting the scene. I've never been to Italy, but I feel like when I read this book, I felt like I was there. The way she described everything, like the cobblestone, I don't know if I'm making that up, but I feel like I could visualize the cobblestone and what the cars look like and what the streets looked like. And she talked about some, what's the word? Landmarks. She talked about different landmarks that I've also never seen, but you know, I was looking them up on Google as I was reading and I felt like I was there. I felt like I was in Italy. This book made me want to go to Italy even more. So cute. I feel like it really is a coming of age story. There's even a little mystery that goes on too with her mom, and I was really enticed by that part of the plot. And I feel like it was just so cute. I enjoyed every bit of it. I definitely would reread this. I believe I gave this a 4-star rating as well. This book is another recent one I read. I believe I read this last fall, and that is The Inheritance Games. I'm sure you've heard of this book series and Jennifer Lynn Barnes, but I love her. I love everything I've read by her so far. But we have, this is The Inheritance Games where Avery, oh my gosh, how do I explain this? I just want to say though that Knives Out is one of my favorite movies, so when people were comparing this to Knives Out, I was like, I need to read this. And I feel like that was such a good description of how this book is, with all the riddles and all the mystery of it all. So Avery Grams finds out that this very rich man, Tobias Hawthorne, left his whole fortune to Avery after he passed away. She is not related to this man. She knows nothing about this man, never heard of him. So she goes to visit that family, and it's just a mystery of like how she connects to him and why he decided to give her his whole fortune, his money. What is that called when you leave money behind for people when you die? Oh, your inheritance. Oh my god. Then we have a little bit of a love triangle in here. We have Jameson and Grayson, who are 2 out of the 4 Hawthorne brothers. But I was Team Jameson, if you were wondering. Surprisingly, I feel like I would usually go for a Grayson, but I was Team Jameson in this. I love this book because it has short chapters. It's very easy to read. You fly right through it if it, you know, pulls you in, and I loved it. Right now I'm reading The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Well, I'm not reading The Naturals, I'm reading Killer Instinct, which is the 2nd book in that series, and I also highly recommend that series as well. The next book I want to talk about is a book that I really hold close to my heart because the movie adaptation of this book is my comfort movie. Like, if I don't know what to watch, I'm putting on this movie. It's Divergent. This was like my entryway into dystopian books. I remember my dad and we went to Goodwill, and this came in a two-box set. It was Divergent and Insurgent. And I was like, oh my god, these books are so big. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna read it. And I remember reading this in bed at night with my little book light and freaking out over 4. I was like, I love this man. I'm so sorry if you could hear my parents watching TV in the background. They don't know how to watch TV at a normal volume. This is a dystopian society where you are split into like 4 different factions. I think when you turn 18, I believe, you get to choose what faction you go to to switch factions if you want. And there's like a whole test or whatever that they're supposed to take that's supposed to tell them where they're supposed to go. But when you're divergent, you don't really fall into any of those 4 factions, and that's what Tris is. So we get to see how all of that unfolds. We meet 4, who is part of Dauntless, the Dauntless faction, and I just love him. And he's played by Theo James, which brings me back to my big 3. Theo James. Thank you, Theo James. Really, really want to do a reread of the Divergent series. Well, it's like a reread / finishing the series, because I read Divergent, I started Insurgent and like DNF'd it. Like, I put it down and I just never picked it back up. And then I never read Allegiant. So those are like the physical books that I really wanted to talk about. 2 other mentionable dystopian books that I love so much are the Shatter Me series and then the Fifth Wave series. Like I said, I feel like I've read so many young adult books, but those are the books that I really recommend to someone who wants to read more young adult books or looking to expand the types of books that they read. It's also just kind of fun reminiscing over these books and the memories I have with them. Thank you guys for tuning in today's video and listening to me ramble about young adult books, and I'll see you guys next time.